Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your asses for chapter 6.
Oh my god, it's the chapter 6. I am so excited.
Why can't we have a normal intro? Just once, guys.
Because it's more fun this way. Yes, it's more fun if you talk like this.
Screw you guys.
Chapter 6. Safe search. Off. Just leave us alone, Sweetie Belle shouted out from behind Twilight. Yeah, Applebloom and Skulu shouted in unison. CapsLock looked at them with relative disinterest and turned his attention to Twilight. Soup? He asked casually. You horny? Excuse me, Twilight asked in disgust. Oh, wait, CapsLock shouted. You're an unicorn. You're always horny. Lol, 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 lol. The joke went over Twilight's head and she calmly answered. If I were even remotely stimulated right now, I would never consider engaging with you. Why, your reproductive organs haven't even matured yet. Look how small it is. Twilight laughed as she pointed bluntly at the Cole's always exposed junk. The fillies didn't fully understand the humor, but joined in Twilight's laughter regardless. For the first time since arriving to Ponyville, CapsLock was the butt of the joke. Yeah, well, CapsLock said, trying to regain his power. I still get more action a week than you do in a month. Twilight laughed again. Self-stimulation does not count as action. CMC watched in amazement as CapsLock's smile disappeared from his face. Whatever Twilight had said really upset him. You're, CapsLock stammered, trying to think of a scathing insult, but coming up empty. Twilight approached the Colt, but he backed up towards his scooter. He turned on the flashlights and attempted to make his escape. What's that ridiculous contraception? Twilight asked, looking at CapsLock's scooter. It's my troll physics scooter, CapsLock said angrily. You're probably too stupid to understand how it works. I'm smart enough to see why it won't work, Twilight replied. Are those magnets meant to attract each other? The force would simply... The front magnet pulls the other one forward, CapsLock interrupted. It's science! Your logic is highly flawed. Your face is highly flawed! Skulu accidentally laughed at CapsLock's amazing comeback. She couldn't help it. It was something she'd never heard before. Sweetie Belle and Applebloom snorted, trying to keep from laughing. That wasn't funny, Twilight said, looking in the girl's direction in confusion. You know what else isn't funny? Your face, CapsLock replied. The CMC laughed once again, and CapsLock finally regained his scholastic composure. Twilight felt her face turning red and tried to stay calm. Can I please explain why a magnet propulsion system wouldn't work? The front magnet would simply... Blah, 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 simply, CapsLock voiced over her. Talking over someone is a common defense mechanism for blah, 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 offenses mechanismen. You think you're so smart? What's a blue waffle? CapsLock asked, setting the bait. Twilight scoffed and replied, That's simple. It's a waffle that's blue. Wrong, you retard! Are you insulting my intelligence? Twilight asked angrily. Insulting her intelligence was far worse than inflicting physical harm, and CapsLock quickly learned this. I'm just insulted at how stupid you are. What kind of pony doesn't know what the blue waffle is? Is it some kind of flower? Sweetie Belle asked curiously. CapsLock shook his head. It's a fish! It's a bird! Skulu guessed. CapsLock shook his head again, and Twilight began levitating several books over her. Lol, why are you looking at books? You can't even read. I most certainly can read, Twilight shouted. I've read thousands of books, but why haven't I heard of a blue waffle? Twilight, I think he's playing a trick on you, Applebloom shouted, tugging on the distracted unicorn. Twilight buried her face deeper into the book, tossing it aside when she failed to find a blue waffle. Learn to internet, noob, CapsLock shouted. Before any of the ponies could ask how to internet, the Colt sped off into town. I've never heard of the verb internet, Twilight said, bringing the 3 more books to eye level. Maybe it's a noun? proper noun? Twilight, please, Applebloom begged. You were so close to... I think the internet is one of the things Celestia told me to never inquire about, Twilight interrupted with her distracted monologue. She said it was the most dangerous place in Equestria where even her rule could not touch. Could that cold have come from the internet? Ugh, Sweeterbell moaned. Come on, girls, we have to find CapsLock. Maybe if we do to him what Twilight did, he'll stop being so mean, Scootaloo suggested. Twilight didn't even notice the fillies run off out of the library door, leaving her and Spike alone. The baby dragon had managed to clean off his feet and began running around, picking up the books and Twilight had skimmed through. Spike, have you ever heard of the internet? Twilight asked, looking to her assistant. The dragon thought for a moment, scratching his chin with his claw. After a moment, he snapped his claws together as a memory came in. Remember that dragon migration we went on? Yes, did you pass through the internet during it? No, Spike said, shaking his head. There were these teenage dragons talking about it. They said something about computers and using them to get on the internet. Twilight looked at Spike skeptically. So you're saying I can use the computer in the lab to get on the internet? She asked. Spike shrugged. I don't know, maybe. Well, couldn't hurt to check, Twilight said, leading the way to the library's underground laboratory. In the corner was a golden box, the only distinguishing features being a screen and some light bulbs. With the push of a button, the machine whirred to life and the screen lit up. The screen now displayed a start menu and a few desktop items. Twilight looked at it inquisitively, wiggling the ball-bearing input device attached to the computer. A small pixelated hoof moved across the screen, and she found she had control over it. Why have I never used this before? This is fascinating, Twilight said, fascinated simply by the computer's ability to recognize user input. She dragged the hoof over to an icon labeled Internet Explorer and waited for something to happen. Try pushing some buttons, Spike suggested, pushing his claw on the mouse. A search engine opened up, and Twilight jumped back in surprise. A blank box with a blinking black line was next to the word Search. Search Blue Waffle, Twilight commanded. Nothing happened, so Twilight repeated herself, louder. Search Blue Waffle. Spike looked at the other strange device connected to the computer and pushed on it. Appeared on the search box. Twilight looked down at the keyboard and pushed on several of the keys before managing to erase everything. She then typed Blue Waffle into the search bar and waited. Click Enter, Spike suggested. Twilight dragged the cursor over and clicked. Slowly, an image began to appear on the screen, and both Twilight and Spike tried to figure out what it was. Was it that? Twilight asked, squinting at the screen. More loaded, and became apparent that what a Blue Waffle was. Oh, dear Celestia! Twilight shouted, trying not to throw up. Twilight, that... Look away, Spike! It kinda looks like you're... Twilight began mashing on the keyboard and clicking on the mouse furiously. The image disappeared and was replaced by a blue screen with white text. The unicorn turned to her assistant and shouted, Spike, go upstairs! Dragon hesitated, but eventually obeyed, leaving Twilight alone in the laboratory. As soon as she managed to fix the computer, she was going to learn everything she could about the internet. And another author's note. Don't Google Blue Waffle. This kind of makes me want to Google it, so let's see what it is after the recording is over. Don't type into Bing, Yahoo, Safari, or any other search engine. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but this is one day after I recorded chapter 5, so excuse me for my stumbling. And if your morbid curiosity gets the better of you, I will not be held responsible. So that's chapter 6. Let's head over to chapter 7, shall we?
You know what's funny about chapter 6? Me neither.
Ah, come on now, don't be such a grump.
When is this finally over?